Hi girls, today I'm going to start the first unit of web technologies. In the first unit, we are going to see about the basic concepts of internet, okay? Because the title of the paper is web technologies, this paper covers you about the basics of internet and the HTML and JSP, XML and ASP, okay? So these are all the tools that are used to create a web pages, okay? So today I'm just start the first unit, basic concepts of the internet, okay? Now let's go into the topic, introduction to internet. So what is called internet? The internet is, in simple terms, is a network of interlinked computer networking worldwide, which is accessible to the general public. These interconnected computers work by transmitting data through a special type of packet switching, which is known as the IP or the internet protocol, okay? The network is called, what is called networking means various types of computers or laptops or anything that was connected by means of a wired or wireless medium, that is called a networking, okay? So the term internet is the interlinked computer networking worldwide, which is accessible to the general public. So how the internet works? For example, if you take a PC, the personal computer or laptop, anything, your mobile phone, so that is connected to a connected to a telephone line as well as the modem. So what is the purpose of modem here is, the modem is used to modulate and demodulate the signals, okay? Because the computer uses the digital signals, but the telephone uses the analog signals. So you have to convert the digital to analog and analog to digital signals. So that purpose only the modem is placed a key role in this internet, okay? Here the internet browsing software also you have to need, that is the browser. You have to browse anything from, you have to browse the internet, you need a browser, okay? So the second thing, first one is the personal computer, second one is the browser, and the third one is the telephone line, which is the most important thing by means of ISP providers. For example, if you have a mobile phone, you have a network, okay? For example, in India, you take an Airtel, BSNL, Vodafone, like that, lot of telephone companies are available. So from that only you have to get the signals, okay? To set data or anything, you need one ISP provider. At that place, you need a telephone connections for that, okay? So the fourth one is the telephone line. The fourth one is the modem, and then the ISP provider, internet service provider. In India, you can have lot of ISP providers. For example, the BSNL, Vodafone, Airtel, like that, Jio. So lot of ISP providers are available. And then the satellite network. So these are all connected to the ISP providers, connected to the satellites, okay? The ISP provider is the gateway here. By use of the ISP providers only, we can share our data, mails, like that, and everything nowadays. So this is a basic of how the internet works in the today's world. So in this slide, I'm going to explain the origin of the internet. The origin of the internet means the history of internet, how the internet grows today, starting from a small point. Today it's a boom for all. Internet is a boom, okay? You can do anything via internet nowadays. Online shopping, online classes, like that, smart classes are going in online only by the use of internet. During this pandemic also, it's very helpful to the large number of organizations for their working environment, okay? So the origin of internet is, the internet began as a research network funded by the Advanced Research Project Agency, shortly called ARPA, of the US Department of Defense in 1969. This is the first internet emerged. In 1989, the National Science Foundation, NFS, take over the management of the ARPANET. In the year 1960, US Department of Defense developed a new large-scale computer network. The purpose of this ARPANET was communications between the systems, program sharing, and remote computer access for researchers working on the different related contract. The Department of Defense Advanced Research Project Agency ARPA funded the construction of the first such network. ARPANET connected a dozen of computers funded by the ARPA research laboratories and universities. The ARPANET was first used in the laboratories and universities only. First node of this network was established at UCLA in the year 1969. It was funded by the ARPA, the network called the ARPANET. The primary use of the ARPANET was simple text-based communication through email. It's available only to the laboratories and universities funded by the ARPANET. At the time, other networks were developed during the late 1970s and early 1980s with BitNet and CSNet. Okay. In 1989, the National Science Foundation, shortly called NFS, took over the management of the ARPANET. By the mid-1990s, the Internet included connections to more than 60 countries and more than 2 million host computers with more than 50 million users worldwide. So what is called the ARPANET? It is abbreviated as Advanced Research Project Agency Network. In mid-60s, Department of Defense started ARPANET to build a network that could resist any attack from USSR and help academians, for example, the professors and students, for their research work and sharing their informations. So that's the main goal of the ARPANET, is for laboratory purpose and the research purpose in the universities. In 1987, BitNet and CSNet merged to form the Corporation for Research and Educational Networking, shortly called CREN, another work of the NSF, that means the National Science Foundation. In 1991, the CSNet was discontinued, having fulfilled its important yearly role in the provision of academic networking service. In 1992, Internet Society is chartered and WWW released by the CERN. So again, this is the history of the computers. The year 1970 to 1980, the BitNet, because its network was emerged. It began at the City University of New York. The main purpose of this BitNet was its provider email services and file transfer services. And then CSNet also emerged at the time during the 1970 and 1980. CSNet means Computer Science Network. The purpose of this CSNet is to provide emails. Connected the University of Delaware, Purdue University, the University of Wisconsin, Rand Corporation, and Bolt and Newman. The initial purpose was to provide emails only. For a variety of reasons, neither BitNet nor CSNet became a dominant rational network. In the year 1986, NFSNet was developed, sponsored by the National Science Foundation. Initially, it connected NFS-funded supercomputers at 5 universities. After it became available to other academic and research labs. In 1990, NFSNet replaced by ARPANET for most non-military users and wide variety of organizations. And the year 1992, NFSNet was connected more than 1 million of computers around the world. In the year 1995, a small part of the NFS funded returned to being a research network. The rest became known as the Internet. So this is the history of the Internet from the ARPANET to till there are a lot of growth in the Internet society. So next, what is called Internet? The Internet is a huge collection of computers connected in a communication network. The computer might be at many different sizes. For example, if you connected a laptop with a PC, and you can also connected a mobile phone with your laptop, like that you can connect different size of computers together. Some other devices also connected to Internet like plotters, printers, like that also connected by means of networking. Innovations of all these devices are to communication with each other in a single low-level protocol. The use of the Internet is to communicate with each other in a single low-level protocol. So the internet is a network of computers linking many different type of computers all over the world. It is a very large wide area network connecting computers and networks around the world. It makes it possible for millions of users to connect to one another via telephone line, cable line and satellites. So internet in 1970s. By the end of the 1969, just 4 computers were connected to the ARPANET, but the network grew steadily during the 1970s. You people can't imagine. Nowadays, you can connect millions of computers together. You can also communicate the people from anywhere to anywhere, share informations. You can make video calls, online conferences, and then by using Zoom and many other Google Meet like that, you can conduct the meetings, online meetings. If a friend was in US, another friend in Japan, you can also make a group call by as a video calls. All these are happen nowadays. But at the beginning of the internet, just only the 4 computers were connected to the ARPANET, but the network grew steadily and reached this type of growth. Okay, the packet switched computer networks multiplied. However, it became more difficult for them to integrate into a single worldwide internet. By the end of the 1970s, a computer scientist named Vinton Cerf had begun to solve this problem by developing a way for all the computers on all of the world's mini networks to communicate with one another. He called his inventions TCP, that is called the Transmission Control Protocol. Later, he added additional protocol known as the Internet Protocol, that is shortly called IP. The acronym we use to refer to today here, the protocol is called TCP/IP. You people study a network paper in your undergraduate course detailed about the layers of the 7 layers of the networks, the TCP, how TCP works in the networking layers. All the things are your people already knew in your UG classes. Okay. So TCP/IP was described to be the handshake between computers all over the world. It enabled each computer to have its own identity. Internet in 1980s. Cerf protocol transferred the internet into the worldwide network. Throughout the 1980s, researchers and scientists used it to send files and data from one computer to another computer. However, this network was still between scientists and researchers from different universities and labs. You people just imagine in the 1980s, 1970s, internet was only used by the researchers, scientists and the universities, laboratories only. It was not affordable to the common people. But after 1990, slowly the internet was come to the common people. Nowadays, you can see all of us have a mobile phone, have internet, we can use all the things. So all of happened because of that protocol TCP and IP. After that protocol only, it was easy to connect all over the world, all the systems, all the devices that form a mini networks. Okay, by the means of that protocol TCP/IP. Internet in the 1990s. However, in 1991, the internet changed again. Tim Berners-Lee introduced the World Wide Web, an internet that was not simply a way to send files from one place to another, but was itself a web of information that anyone on the internet could receive. So by the World Wide Web only, we can get the information from anywhere. You can search any information from the net. Okay, you can get it. Berners-Lee created the first browser on the internet that we know today. The first browser is called the Mosaic. In the year 1992, a group of students and researchers at the University of Illinois developed a sophisticated browser that they called Mosaic. It later became Netscape. Mosaic offered a user-friendly way to search the web. It allows users to see words and pictures on the same page for the first time and to navigate using scroll bars and clickable links. So this is the first browser. Nowadays, you people can have lot of browsers, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, like that. You have lot of browsers. The first browser is the Mosaic. So I stop here. I will continue the topic in my next class. The part of the introduction part will be continued in my next session. Okay, thank you girls.